Chapter 11, Looping Statements, Solution Movie 11.1. Okay, in this exercise, we're going to use what you've learned about looping statements to work with items in an array. So with our first step, we start out by creating a playground named looping.playground. File, new playground, looping. Say next, I'll store it in documents and hit create. So I'll move this over here, get rid of our sample code. And our next step says, in the playground, create a variable named iOS devices that holds a string array of iOS device categories. And so we want a string array that contains iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. So I say var iOS devices equals, and we'll say iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. And we'll go ahead and make this a little bigger and skinny up our results bar. All right, for our next step, it says use a for-in loop and a print line statement to display each item in the array. So it mentions to see the results of the print line statement, select View, Assistant Editor, Show Assistant Editor. And it opens up this area at the bottom. So I type for device in iOS devices, and we'll add a print line statement. And to designate it as a for-in loop, I'll say for-in. And we want to display the device, so I can say backslash. I'm going to put the device in here, end quote, end paren. So we can see, sure enough, it's executed 3 times. And at the bottom with our console output, we can see we've displayed iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. So our next step says use a for-in loop with range operators and a print line statement to display each item in the array. So we need to have a slightly modified for-in loop, and we'll use the range operator. So I'm going to add an empty print line statement here just to add some space between each of these in our console. So now I'll say for I in 0 through but less than iOS devices.count, and we'll add our print line statement. So we'll say for in range, and then we'll specify iOS devices. We'll pass the index number in. And sure enough, there we have it. So we have the for-in. It's separated by this print line. That's why this empty line is here. And then for-in range is working properly too. So now our final step, use a for-in loop with Swift's enumerate function and a print line statement to display each item in the array, prefixed by item number, starting with 1. So it's a little bit of a trick in there because I've asked you to start with 1 rather than 0. So we'll add another print line statement to leave another empty line in between. And I'll say for, then in parentheses, I device in enumerate iOS devices. So the enumerate function returns the index number as well as the value from each member in the array. So for our print line statement, we're going to say we get the index number plus 1. So there's our trick with starting with 1 rather than 0. And I'll put a colon here to separate the number. And then we will display the device. And we'll see how we did. And sure enough, there it is. At the bottom, our 4in with the enumerate function is showing us iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch numbered 1, 2, and 3.